Oh.
I'm blinking. Come on.
Oh.
Ready? One. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Press. 1,
2,
3,
4,
5,
6,
7,
8,
9.
10.
Yizzo!
Hey, hey.
Yes.
We gotta create like a
Soul
little.
sister. I know we gotta come up with something. How are you, Sheila? Let's act like I didn't just talk to you for an hour and a half.
There you go, showing the back of house.
Back of house, babe. We gotta
Nobody
be.
knows until you show. Tell them.
They gonna be like, why are they wearing the same thing again? They know.
Listen. It is October 20th. For the retail world, I may be behind. The fourth quarter in the retail world is when you are bulking up, you are locking, loading your gun, ready to shoot. So it's a bit stressful. It is a bit stressful. No. Each year I'm getting better and better at preparing, but I have a lot of moving pieces that tempt me to believe an old narrative about myself. You know, it tempts me to, like, when things get challenging, I'm like, I can't do this. I don't want to do this. And like something as easy as like sending emails, having meetings with people, like take a lot of emotional fucking labor in a lot of ways. Cause it's like you're trying to show up, you're trying to like move this thing along, but then you have to manage all of these interpersonal nuances on top of your own like self-critique and insecurity, and like it's a lot. It's a lot. I be in that fucking coffee shop sweating bullets, having emotional roller coasters. But I had a little revelation. I dropped my daughter off early in the morning. I go to the coffee shop. I did some work. So I worked from like 8:30 to like 2. And at around 2:00, like straight, my mind's buzzing a little bit, like it's getting a little, I don't know, my brain gets like cottony a little bit when I know like, all right, I need to take a break. But I still had things that I needed to do. But I had this voice in my head because where this coffee shop is, it's really close to water and like a trail. And I was like, no, you need to just like, fuck it, you need to just like get up and go. And I was like, oh no, I can just, you know, I was going to go run errands. Maybe I was going to go to the thrift store and like distract myself consuming something. But the other voice was like, no, bitch, like go ahead to the water. So I walked to Valley Green, and it was this beautiful reminder of what disruption can do. Like disruption to not only my schedule, but also a disruption to the thoughts that I was thinking. It was like a crack. It cracked the entire spiral. It stopped the spiral that I found myself going down. It helped me to relax. It helped me to be more reasonable with myself. And it helped me to like remind myself of what was possible. And it made me think about, I've also been like listening to, just looking at the news, thinking about the world and how everything's just falling the fuck apart. And as I was walking, I was like, we are so energetically resigned to our mundane schedules and ideas of success and our ideas of what family and relationships can be. We're just like going along, doing this thing, not knowing if we even really like the things that we're doing, not questioning it, not ignoring the parts of us that are like, this is wildly uncomfortable or wrong, or like, I don't really fuck with this shit. And as a consequence, like the society, not society, but like shit is falling apart in so many ways. And it feels like there's like this collective resignation to it. It's like, I don't know what to do. What can we do? I'm just going to keep on following the same patterns of like change that we knew in the past. I'm just going to, no knocking to voting or whatever, but I'm just going to like follow the same political models that I think I should be following and represent the party that I think I should be following, do my due diligence. And there just feels like there's this collective surrendering that we're doing. And it finally hit me when I was walking, and I was like, the power of disruption, the power of like doing something different that you, as subtle as in my day of like, oh, fuck it. No, I'm gonna just go for a walk. Like, even though it's not necessarily the most productive thing to do, I just have to disrupt this routine that I'm in. And it just cracked so much for me. And I feel like when people are in practice of that in your personal life, if you find ways to like disrupt the regular thing, whether that be in your work, whether that be in your friendships, whether that be in your family dynamics, I feel like it opens up another path. Like another path just kind of opens up of possibility. And you're like, oh shit, this other thing can happen. It resets in a way. It generates in a way that felt almost like inspirational in that moment. I was like, okay, we're not necessarily stuck. Like myself, I'm not stuck in my own narrative of myself and how I think I should be working. And in my own personal, like, recognition of this, I was like, like this is possibly how we as a collective, like break out of this resignation spiral, this surrender spiral that it feels like we're all in, because shit is just falling apart in so many ways. And we're like, okay, well, anyway, also white men have been noticing me. And
what a segue.
This is really taking me out. Like today, I swear to God, at least over the past 2 days, at least 5 men have been keeping eye contact with me, have been like smiling, have been like, hey, hi, how are you doing?
Oh, you fine.
Talking to me. No, girl. I have a red hot chili peppers jacket that I bought because I'm obsessed with Melody Asani and she's married to Flea. And I also really like red hot chili peppers. But them white men see that jacket and they're like, I like your jacket. Like, oh, it's my favorite band. And I was like, these niggas just need an in. They just need to know that like, you tapped in a little bit. They can relate.
They're yes. Like, you broke down the barrier a little bit. That's like your olive branch.
Yes.
I'm safe.
If you're trying to get in with a vanilla face man, if you're trying to get loved up by a white man, you got to find that thing. And then they will.
Do the Beatles work? What do you think?
You said
I'm
what?
not trying to do. Could I wear like a Beatles shirt? I'm not. I would be so curious to see what kind of white men I would.
Beatles feels attract. Like too mainstream in a way. You gotta put like a Rage Against the Machine shirt on. You gotta put like a little obscure like or a white film reference. Like white guys love obscure films and shit. Like, oh my god. Anyway, I'm telling you. I'm getting the eyes, all kinds of ages too. I said,
wow.
It's the fucking jacket.
I want to see this jacket. They were like, oh, she's one of us. She's one of us. I'm here for it. Don't. Matter of fact, Rashid, break up with her. My updates, I'm looking for a retreat over the new year. I'm realizing that I need to travel. Have I been anywhere this year? I don't think I have. Just LA. And that doesn't count because I don't count US stuff. I haven't been anywhere. I haven't been out the country.
Atlanta, girl, you trying to come?
Stop trying to get me to go to Atlanta with you. Atlanta. I'm like, girl, no, I'm good. You enjoy. I'll watch you with your stories. No, I'm looking up these retreats. I want to go over the holiday. So I want to go like maybe Christmas into the new year. And I'm not looking for like, I don't think I'm looking for an adventure retreat, but I might take it. Everything that I'm finding is in like Costa Rica or
What does adventure retreat mean?
a lot of times it's like just action packed. You're like, all right, we're doing this, this, this. It's like I'd like a healthy mix. I found one that was like, you're going to meditate, you're going to journal, you're going to do yoga twice a day, and you can leave and go do other things, but this is what we're focused on. And I was with it, and then they said vegan options only, and I was like, I definitely want. It's the best fish I ever had. Yo,
nasty.
No, vegan's delicious. But damn it, if I'm going to Costa Rica, you gonna give me some of that fish. That fish was delicious. Woo, that's top two. The best fish I ever had was in Ghana. But that, what was it? It was I don't remember. I can't remember. It wasn't even a crab fish. It was so good. Oh, and I kept getting it every day. I would walk to that little hut and go get that fish. But I'm looking for recommendations. It doesn't need to be Costa Rica. It doesn't need to be Mexico. Help me out. Help me help myself. I really, really want to go, and I'm not afraid of not seeing my family for the holidays. I've already set those boundaries up.
You're trying to go like this year?
Yeah, girl, when is Christmas and the New Year this year?
Oh, forgive me. I thought like the New Year. I saw the New Year.
Oh, in the New Year. No. Like, I'm sorry, New Year's. Like New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. Like that time frame, because work is going to be intense. And I need to reset so that I can come back and tighten again. In other news, we received a voicemail that was interesting. I only read the transcript. I have not heard the voicemail. But I read the first part of the transcript and was like, okay, I obviously need to address this and maybe apologize. So I'm going to play it. This is out. I'm venturing out of our formats.
Disruption.
To just disrupting. You told me to disrupt, so here we are. So let me play it right now.
Hi, ladies. This is Shannon from Dallas. Okay, so I am currently listening to this week's new episode, and I have been trying my hardest not to say anything about this for a while, but I just want to know what Antoinette's beef is with black women being so comfortable with themselves. Like, for instance, every time there's something pertaining to Chloe, I feel that Antoinette has to go out of her way to be like, oh, she's forcing this on us. She's doing this because she wants attention. And then with today's episode, the same thing with Lizzo. Oh, I don't feel like she's comfortable. I just want her to just be herself. Why can't what she's doing now just be her being comfortable and being herself? And please don't take this the wrong way, but I sometimes feel like, Antoinette, you project what you're afraid to do onto these women in particular. Like, it more than once you have said something about Chloe and, I just feel like she's doing too much for attention, and I feel like she's forcing it instead of just being like, you know what, she knows she's the shit, and she is unapologetically herself, and she don't give a fuck what nobody thinks. Why is it gotta be like, okay, well, she's presenting that, but I feel like it's forced? And then to say the same thing about Lizzo, well, okay, well, she's supposed to be games with thongs on, and I just feel like she's not comfortable with herself. Why can't she be so confident in herself that that's just how she presents herself? Why is that always questioned? Like, I need to know, why does Antoinette always have to find a problem in black women's confidence? That's all. Have a nice day, ladies.
You're going to drop that bomb, talk about some toodles. That's all.
All right, a couple things. I'm going to take that and I'll sit with it. I want to first say that I definitely welcome criticism. I am not perfect. I also want to be really clear because I think I've done myself a disservice a little bit. And I'm not saying that this is at all what, I don't think she said her name. Oh no, Shannon. At all what Shannon was saying or alluding to. But I just want to make it clear that when we talk about Black women, I am a Black woman. And that doesn't mean that there's no space where Black women don't harm other Black women. Not saying that. I just need to clarify that because I feel like there's this other category that I may have placed myself in that yeah, I need to clarify that on this podcast. So that's number one. I also think that the thing that I'm trying to say about Lizzo as a bigger woman, what I think I was not articulating my thoughts very well because I didn't want to come off as a hater, but I guess it ended up coming off that way anyway. I want Lizzo to just be able to be herself. And I'm not saying that she's not. And I'm not saying I'm right about any one of these women. I'm giving my opinion. So that's another thing. But what I'm saying is I feel like it is unfair that anytime Lizzo does anything, it seems that it's an act of bravery. It seems like, because that's the narrative behind it. It seems like she has to constantly make a statement to preemptively get ahead of the bullshit that she's going to receive. I root for Lizzo. I want to see that lady win. I still think that some of it is a bit forced, and I don't think that it's not for good reason. I'm more frustrated at the fact that I feel that everything she does is a fucking act of resistance. That frustrates me, and I think she knows that. After reading the interviews, after watching her speak, her talk about her mental health, her talk about the internet trolls, she has even alluded to the fact that some of the stuff she does it because she's like, I'm going to be so in your face so that you can't hurt me, but it still hurts. And that's all I'm trying to allude to is like this whole, like, I don't care what anybody thinks. That's not real for any human. So when I see it, it makes me sad for her. It's not hate. I'm frustrated for her. So I just need to clarify that because I don't think that I said that well. The Chloe thing, I think that we've both had some interesting takes on Chloe. I think it's interesting that mine is the one that's being brought to the forefront, but I don't want to drag you into that. But I don't know that we've disagreed on what the energy that we get from Chloe and that it feels a bit.
I'm not a fan of Chloe's performances, but not Chloe as.
Yeah, I don't mind her. I'm just talking about her performances. I'm not talking about her way of being. She could do her thing. But again,
I have brown skin privilege probably, so I'm not getting roped into this. This is all nuanced in a way, but I don't know.
I think that you're going to come here, you're going to get opinions. And just because I have critiques of women or men or anyone, especially Black women, does not mean that I am not completely rooting for them. So I just want to make that really, really clear moving forward. And if I've offended anyone, I apologize. I do my best not to do that. But yeah, that's all I have to say. So thank you for your voicemail, Shannon. Please rate and subscribe and share around the way, girl. Comment. Do your thing, y'all. I mean, that's going to be a part of it.
It's good. It's good, healthy discussion, not to shy away from it. It's good.
Mm-hmm.
It's all good.
I think it's also very interesting, but I'll leave it at that.
Now I'm the one that's... Listen.
You're the one what?
I think around politics, people definitely like to critique and have things to say. It just
No,
depends
I'm not talking about politics. I'm talking about when it comes to when we get backlash around Black women or around like that kind of stuff. It comes to me, and I think
I don't have the same opinions with the way that you felt about Lizzo. But anyway, I don't want. This isn't about whatever was shared or whatever was misconstrued in that episode was. I don't know.
I don't think that me having any critique on Lizzo has anything to do with Lizzo being Black. I just want to make that really clear. And I think it's
you're
clear
talking about
that
the centering of Black, the othering of you, and the centering of Black.
That's what I'm speaking to.
Okay.
Is that
that's
good with everything else, but to equate those two things is what is interesting to me. And I'm not going to say that Black people cannot harm other Black people. I'll leave room for that, and I will make sure that I observe my behavior in that way. I'm just saying I think it's interesting that was the equation there.
I heard that.
Okay. Moving right along. Hot shit. I am very excited. By the time this comes out, when is this going to come out? Monday. We would have recorded. We're having a full week takeover, Around the Way Curls takeover of See the Thing Is with Bridget and Mandy B. Your girl Shanti would have drove up from Philadelphia, and she is going to hold her own on the couch with the girls. They won't let us record together for some reason.
I wish they would.
They won't. I'm like, it's the dynamic duo. What the fuck? She was like, Mandy was like, no, we get her by herself, and then we'll get you by yourself. I said, okay, fine. So y'all gonna get. I can't wait for this. I cannot wait to honestly sit and listen to you cackle and you carry on. They love you, and so I'm excited to see you guest host.
It feels like a lot of pressure. It's not the fact of being alone. I think you are beloved in that community, and they're gonna be like, "What is this? Get this girl out of here!"
If they like, you ain't hear that voicemail. If they love me, they gonna love you. They like me, they gonna love you. I'm playing.
No,
but no, I'm telling you, I don't think that you realize how brilliant you are. And how funny you are, and how smart and personable and witty.
I know myself.
You don't get it.
I know myself. No, it's not. It's not that. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. But I also have a sense of. I might be setting myself up, but
why? Why do you think that?
I don't be wrong about shit. I really don't be.
I'm gonna be in the room.
Don't be wrong about stuff. I'm not scared to talk to them. That's not what I feel.
What do you feel?
But it's not. That's not my business. It's okay. It's gonna be what it's gonna be.
You feel fear around what? Please tell me. Tell me.
I just said it to you. I feel like the audience is familiar with you, and you're like the beloved guest of See This Thing Is, and representative Around the Way Curls, and then the other Around the Way Curls, you'll be like, boo, bring the other girl.
No, you know what's crazy is that audience every week they're like, this person's my favorite guest. This person's they say such nice things.
The thing isn't to be a favorite guest, but I think if there's honest apprehension around it, it's not that I'd go on solo with them. It's just that it's you have garnered a fan base and like set the tone for what Around the Way Curls.
And half of them have come over here. Half of them have come over here and loved this podcast, and I'm sure a whole lot of that has to do with you.
It'll be so. Right. It's okay.
It's going to be great.
I'm excited to talk to Bridget. I'm excited to chop it with Mandy. Mandy's talking about interesting topic, and I'm like, let's go. It's going to be good.
So make sure y'all check that out. It'll be a blast. Just a blast. Just a good old party.
For my hot shit, I have two. Another podcast that you guys should really check out if you just want to navel gaze and talk about all of the metaphysical things. These are two. Well, one brilliant. I think she is the main host, but she often has guests on. It seems like she has this continuous guest, which may or may not be her partner. I don't know, but it's a male-female dynamic. Bobo's Void is the name of this podcast. I would recommend you watch it on YouTube because it's also this like beautiful visual media as well, where they set it, the way that they set it, it's often like outside with a beautiful landscape, and then they're just talking their shit, and they're really, really brilliant. And again, talking about people disrupting and saying all the things. I'm often listening to it like, that's crazy, but it makes a lot of sense. But they say there is space to spiral and explore philosophy and the absurd world that we live in a way that's accessible, fun, and easy to digest. And I think you guys should go check them out.
Where'd you find them?
Through Rashid.
Rashid. Y'all, all the hot shit come from Rashid. Shout out to Rashid.
Another, if you guys are in New York, I'm going to try and go to this. If you're in New York, or plan to be in New York anytime before January of 2023, so the remaining of this year, you guys should go check out this exhibit, Black is Beautiful. It's the photography of Kwame Brathwaite, and he is a photographer that has captured some of the most beautiful portraits of Black folks. Black is Beautiful is like Antoinette talked about mission statement. That is his mission as a photographer, to capture and represent beautiful Black people. In the 70s and the 60s is when he really shined, and where most of his iconic photography was shot. But he's 84 years old. And again, to all the artists, to all the creatives out there, this man is 84 years old, and he is just, I don't know if he's just now. I think for a lot of people in the art community, he was making waves, but like 84 years old with the exhibition in
his stuff is gorgeous. Oh my God, I know his work. He's getting his flowers.
He's getting his recognition, and it's great. Take your kids. I feel like it's a perfect date. So if you're trying to impress a new boo, for all the niggas listening, all the folks listening, everybody, go take them to this with the coffee or some wine. And
where is it at, though?
Get into it. It's at the exhibition at the New York Historical Society. I don't know. Just Google it. I don't know where that shit's at. Museum and Library.
Oh, okay.
And again, it's happening until January 2023.
Dope. I might go see that then.
You should.
I need to. I mean, not might. I'm looking it up. I need to find it, and I need to get back to the outline. All right. All righty. Politics as usual. You know what's coming. Midterm elections are November 8th. I think it's all this landscape, this climate is interesting. I was listening to my girls. Oh, I gotta get the clip. I was listening to my girls on The View, and they were nervous because well, the polls are interesting. You know, a lot of the polls are saying, there was a New York Times poll that came out, and it said that basically 70, I believe it was close to 70% of Americans feel like our democracy is in jeopardy. But only 20% of Americans feel like there's anything they can do about it when it comes to...
Wow. Resignation. Yeah. Collective resignation.
Yeah. And so, you know, Joy Behar is somebody who definitely... Sorry, I need to get this clip together. She definitely is very passionate about democracy. She's very passionate about voting, et cetera, et cetera. And she was talking about that collective resignation and how terrifying it is. And they also had April Ryan on, who is the longest running Black woman who is a White House correspondent, 25 years, I believe. And she was talking about how, well, whenever you feel this resignation, just know Black women will come through and save the day. The democracy is on Black women's shoulders, as it's always been, because we show up and we vote. And of course, April Ryan is coming from a very democratic standpoint. But they were talking about the things that are on the ballot. And something interesting that I was recognizing is that Biden is really pushing, and we're going to get into this on Thursday, but really pushing this a couple of narratives. But one, of course, abortion and abortion rights. He seems to be dangling these carrots to kind of draw out certain communities, which of course he has to do for the midterms. But, he's saying that if they can continue to hold the House and the Senate, and if they can hold them in wider margins, he will absolutely work to codify Roe v. Wade, to codify abortion rights. Now, right now, we're short a handful of votes. And so he's like, if you care about the right to choose, then you go out and vote. That's why these midterm elections are so critical, to elect more Democratic senators in the United States Senate and more Democrats to keep control of the House of Representatives. Since most legislation requires, and we talked about this on a previous episode, but I'm going to revisit. Since most legislation requires a 60 vote threshold to advance in the Senate due to the filibuster rule, Democrats would need to abolish the filibuster in order to allow the laws to pass. So what is the filibuster? Let's go back. The filibuster is a tactic that senators use now. This wasn't its original purpose, but senators use this to block debates on a bill and prevent it from being passed. And they basically stall a piece of legislation. So filibusters used to be where senators go up and they talk for 24 hours. You've seen that, right?
For 24 hours?
They won't stop talking. So they'll just keep like it was a rigorous physical effort where they had to go up there and they'll talk all goddamn night if they have to stall this bill. And it's one senator who usually does it. And they take it on and they drink their caffeine and they go for it and they just won't shut up. Now it's become a lot easier to filibuster. Now all you have to do is like send an email and say, I don't agree with this. I'm not on board. So with Biden, he's trying to toe the line because both Democrats and Republicans utilize the filibuster to block bills. So Biden's fear is if we get rid of the filibuster, then that means that the bills that we want to block sometimes we won't be able to anymore. It's a slippery slope. So he's trying to toe the line and he's saying he doesn't want to get rid of it, but he wants to slow it down by bringing back only the talking filibuster, which would require senators to talk all night. And it's rigorous.
God. What in the...
Which is just more political theater. And what's interesting is that filibuster... That came to be, I forget what year, and I had it written down. Damn. But it came to be, I think, in 18 something. And it was put into place so that everyone could be heard. So that there wasn't like this situation where the one person wasn't able to get their full thoughts across. And so now people realize like, oh, well, we can use this to block everything. And so they're just weaponizing it in that way. But I think it's interesting that he's calling, he's really putting his eggs in this abortion basket. And I don't know. We'll see if it works. Most voters that now, go ahead.
That feels like the hottest topic too.
So that's the other thing. It's not. Most voters right now are talking about inflation and the impending recession because most voters vote their pocketbooks. And so I have a clip that I'd like to play about inflation because the narrative around inflation is what? Inflation is coming. We're experiencing inflation because of the war in Ukraine. We're experiencing inflation because of the pandemic, yada, 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 all this shit. But let's just listen to this.
To be able to walk and chew gum at the same time.
So while Republicans seem to be putting the blame again on Democrats for rising inflation, Congresswoman Katie Porter is going viral right now. I love this woman.
Yes,
because she is no joke. And she's going viral for exposing the real culprit. Take a look.
According to this chart, what is the biggest driver of inflation during the pandemic? The dark blue is the recent period.
It would be corporate profits.
And what is that percentage?
It is 54%, and that number does stay that level of high if you update that number to more recent numbers as well.
So over half of the increased prices people are paying are coming from increases in corporate profits.
Yes.
And how does that compare to historically to other periods of inflation or over other periods of economic time?
As reflected there and in other analysis, it is significantly higher in this recovery, 11.5%.
And what is it today?
53%.
So the inflation is actually happening due to corporate greed. They are in a position where they can lower their prices, but because we're willing or need to pay for gas, for certain services,
to pay for certain things,
that they speak on it, that this is what is happening. And so Whoopi and them go on, and Whoopi, that was a clip from The View, of course, and Whoopi goes on to say how frustrating it is that, they keep saying that the Democrats don't get this narrative out. But it's like,
well, I think if we were, I don't know, but I think because politics is so entrenched with finances in a lot of ways, that both the Democrats and the Republicans would have to change policies, would have to change some of the ways that they uphold their influence and power in politics. So it's just as
Democrats are
risky
never
for Democrats to say
Democrats
the same things.
aren't. I don't know if I agree with that, because Democrats want corporate America to pay taxes. Corporate America,
to an extent.
So go ahead and elaborate on that.
I can't elaborate on it, but the idea that Democrats are in any way have a higher moral ground and are less entrenched in serving their own power and their own influence in politics than Republicans is absurd to me. That doesn't make sense. That's impossible. It's just not true. So the ways in which they benefit from corporate, the ways in which they make decisions around corporate tax breaks, even the recent, I don't want to get into this long conversation, even the recent environmental bill that was passed, basically they're allowing corporations to decide through tax incentives to be more environmentally strategic. But it's like these corporations, these major financial Goliaths, they run this shit. They figure out all these loopholes to get away to get the tax breaks, but also not change or do anything different in their practices of how they're running their business.
You realize that Christian Sinema and Joe Manchin wouldn't sign on unless they did that.
But nonetheless, your idea that Democrats are somehow morally...
I didn't say that.
But that's my case. So the fact that corporations, the fact that these billionaires exist, the fact that capitalism runs the ways that it does nationally and internationally, and the politics that happens to make that all happen, it can't be because Democrats are subservient somehow to this big demon that is the Republicans, and they're just we're just trying to fight the good fight. It's money, it's capitalism, it's money. Their money is pulling the strings, whether you're a Democrat or Republican. And I know a lot of people think oh, that's conspiracy. I do not have the facts, but if you understand that capitalism, which is a system that exploits and only function is to make money and to keep costs down, and to get as many resources globally. And that is the system that financially keeps America was started, or not. Capitalism didn't start America, but that's the shit that keeps this country being what it is, and this myth of what America, this great space of possibility and like moral high ground, it's a lie. It's money. That money moves the Democrats and the Republicans. So,
and what I'm saying is within that, and you don't have to be a capitalist, and I don't have to be a capitalist, but what I'm saying in terms of the midterm elections, within that, Democrats are putting forth plans to try to even the playing field a bit when it comes to tax reform, and they cannot get it passed, especially when it comes to corporate tax dollars. They want to tax these corporate dollars in order to make it easier on the people who are getting exploited. So it might be a Band-Aid over a gunshot, but what I'm saying is one is better than the other. And this is not perfect, not without flaws, but one is a little better. And the other thing too is that Biden just rolled out some new tax brackets that's supposed to put money back in our pockets. I just read about that today as well. So there are things happening, but when it comes to corporate dollars, Republicans, because the corporations are so entrenched in their pockets, they are not willing to even have a discussion around changing corporate tax laws, is what I'm saying. That's all. And so when we're talking about inflation being driven by corporate greed, there is something to be said about putting pressure on these corporations that Republicans just are not willing to do at all. Not saying that the Dems' hands aren't dirty within this capitalist society at all. Just that very narrow, conversation that is sadly and not sadly, I mean, I guess if you can't put food on your fucking table or put gas in your car to get to work, that's going to be your top priority in voting. But unfortunately, so many people so many Republicans especially vote against their own interests because they fall in line with the party. It's interesting. But in other news as well, speaking about, did you have something else? I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
But I agree with you. In other news as well, voter suppression in Florida this is not funny. So Florida is the ghetto. Ciao. Sorry. Shout out to all the Floridians. They passed a law. I think it was, I don't remember when, but a law has been passed, and it's fairly recent, but not this year, where they are allowing convicted felons to vote as long as their time is served, as long as they're not on probation, I believe. So now Governor DeSantis is issuing arrest warrants, okay, for voter fraud. And so there was some sort of caveat that no one was fucking aware of, where convicted murderers and convicted child molesters could not vote. They were not counted in the convicted felons, right? Apparently this was not communicated to poll workers. This was not this rollout was a mess.
Are they being arrested after
And they are being arrested. They had they have audio of police officers going up to mostly Black and brown folks saying, "I'm so sorry, I have to arrest you, got a warrant." And the guy's like, "What? For what?" They have to realize these are convicted felons. So now you're getting arrested, and now it's getting even more tricky because you have priors. So he's ruining these fucking people's lives. They have police officers saying, "I have never seen any shit. I don't even know what for." And he was like, "They told me I could vote. I did my civic duty. Like, I went to the polls and voted. They said I could vote." And they're like, "We're sorry, we have to arrest you."
So these are convicted the people that they are targeting are convicted murderers and child pedophiles.
We don't
that
even,
have
apparently
time,
not. Apparently not. So that's the other thing. The caveat is convicted murderers and child molesters, whatever. I can't say the word right now. But some of the people that were getting the arrest warrants weren't they were arrested for violent offenses, but it wasn't murder and it wasn't child molestation. So they're like, why am I being, what is happening? Like, the rules are not clear. They've interviewed poll workers saying, we didn't know that. We were just told that if they served their time and they weren't on parole, they could vote. Like,
the ghetto.
So it's more than the ghetto. They're ruining these people's fucking lives. And it was heartbreaking to hear the interviews, to hear these people being whisked away after they got their fucking second chance. And I'm hoping that there's some sort of civil rights organization that is going to bat for these folks in Florida, because it's horrible. And the other thing is that I thought about it and was like, I know what this motherfucker's doing. He's obviously it's voter suppression. He's trying to scare people into not voting, but he's smart. He also knows that if liberal media and liberal politicians come out and start offending, not offending, start
trying to get
murderers and child molesters and saying, hey, you can't arrest these people. That is a fucking headline. Democrats care more about people who murder and people who will molest your children than the State of the Union. Boom, headline. And now he's got something to run on. Now he's got those voters that are on the edge and don't know which way, he's swinging them. So you don't even hear about this really, because they're tiptoeing on that line of like, what the fuck? What do we even do with this one? And it's sad that is also where media has gotten us, where you can't even, because media is so entrenched with podcast opinions like you and I, instead of just saying what the facts are, interviewing people and putting it out there and not being a part of the story, they're not even reporting on it.
I hate it here.
I hate it here, right?
I hate it here.
I hate it here. It's wild. Wild times.
We know how to keep you inspired.
I'm so sorry. I know. But anyway, midterms are coming up. You know that I'm about to get in my political bag. Hopefully I'm able to do it more. Hopefully the filibuster makes sense. Because I've just been busy, but I'm going to keep watching. And I still haven't talked about Herschel Walker, and that is just ciao.
That's a Negro with a bunch of kids and stuff, and not showing up at debates. He won't show up to the debates. He
doesn't need to. He is locked in. He's doing well. That's the scariest part. That's what I'm talking about, is that he's doing well. He's not getting blown out of the water by any means.
This is a sign of the times. It's a sign of the people.
So that's what I'm saying. When people are talking about the democracy is really at risk, it is. It truly is. Because you also, and I don't remember her name, but there was a Republican nominee who, I forget where she's running, some red state. And they said, if you lose, will you accept the results of the election? And she said, I'll accept them if I win. What? No, seriously, like that.
I said it with my motherfucking chest. Now,
act like funny though. That's not funny. Like, now we're at this place where like it's crumbling. It's crumbling, and this is what. And it's not crumbling due to imploding. Thank you. And it's not due to us uprising and revolting and having a real plan. It's literally just falling apart. Oh, I hope you're enjoying this episode of Around the Waker.
This shit is real, though.
It's real.
This shit is real.
It's scary and it's real.
I don't know if you guys heard, but recently Van Gogh's famous artwork piece, The Sunflower, was vandalized by Just Stop Oil protesters. And these children went up to the artwork at a museum in London and threw tomato cans at it. Luckily,
open tomato cans or just...
open tomato cans, and the tomato soup dripped down the front of the piece, and the two children stood up and shared their spiel around if you think that this is alarming, you should be alarmed that the oil companies are making millions in profits and people can't put food on their tables. So they went off talking their good shit. It couldn't be over 21 years old. The internet was set ablaze with criticism. This is how fucked up we are. With criticism for these young children trying to find a way to disrupt and wake the masses out of their slumber, and trying to say you guys value artwork more than the future of this fucking earth that is falling apart.
So wait, people were mad at them, not
People were
inspired.
like, what? They could have said that without having to. What does artwork have to do with this? Like, they could have said that like with a viral TikTok video.
Because
Like,
people
why did they
listen.
Why did they have to do that? Fortunately, I guess the artwork was not damaged. It's behind glass because these motherfuckers, this is a $1 million piece of artwork. They are not letting the raggedy public have access to these pieces so that they can go and throw tomato sauce and do, our unwell shenanigans on top of it. But this young girl had this to say, and we gotta listen to Phoebe. Phoebe Plummer is her name. Phoebe, talk your shit, girl.
Now, I would like to make one thing perfectly clear. We did no damage to the painting whatsoever. I was in court yesterday, heard that there's been minimal damage done to the frame, which is repairable and replaceable. And absolutely
What?
Put it at the computer for the
Put it at the
page.
computer.
no damage done to the painting. It was behind glass, and we never ever would have considered doing it if we didn't know that it was behind glass and that we wouldn't do any damage. We were sat there from blue to the wall. They wiped it off with a bit of kitchen roll. I recognise that it looks like a slightly ridiculous action. I agree, it is ridiculous. But we're not asking the question, should everybody be throwing soup on paintings? What we're doing is getting the conversation going so we can ask the questions that matter. Questions like, is it okay that Liz Truss is licensing over 100 new fossil fuel licenses? Is it okay that fossil fuels are subsidised 30 times more than renewables when offshore wind is currently 9 times cheaper than fossil fuels? Is it okay that it is there in action that has led us to the cost of living crisis? Where this winter people are going to be forced to choose between heating and eating? This is the conversation we need to be having now. Because we don't have time to waste. Last year, Sir David King said what we do in the next 3 to 4 years will determine the future of humanity. So we're using these actions to get media attention because we need to get people talking about this now. And we know that civil resistance works. History has shown us that it works. I'm stood here today as a queer woman, and the reason that I'm able to vote, the reason I'm able to go to university, hopefully someday marry the person I love, is because of people who have taken part in civil resistance before me.
Shout out to Phoebe, who did the best that she could in that, but I think she was really talking that good shit. And again, I think everybody should listen to on the daily this episode called The Sunday Read, The Rise and Fall of America's Environmentalist Underground. And it is the story of the Earth Liberation Front and their use of economic sabotage to disrupt and fuck up the systems or the industries that are responsible for polluting the planet. And I think I talked about it before on the podcast, but these folks weren't necessarily going and like filming themselves throwing tomato soup on a famous piece of art. These people were going and literally blowing up buildings. Like they were doing radical, crazy, destructive, disruptive work to bring not only attention to their cause, which is around, protecting the environment, but also they were fucking up the money for so many of these companies because it was millions and millions of dollars. And the amount of talent that these people had, the organizations, they were so fucking tight that they couldn't be found. And in 2012, they were the number one America's most wanted. They were considered as eco-terrorists was the name that they were given. And it was like a wet dream for like spies and like, you know, radical rebels underground, like niggas revolting and doing the damn thing. But it goes to say that at this point in time, following the same systems and thinking that the change that needs to happen is by us being resigned to doing the same thing versus throwing a bomb, breaking glass, like maybe not those literal things, but maybe those literal fucking things, because we are in a deep slumber. And I don't know how we're ever going to get to that collective disruption if in our own lives we are dead. In our own lives, we are so resigned to like getting up and doing the thing. And I'm not talking about you doing your work so that you can be recognized, so that you can be famous, so that you can get money. Like, that's not the disruption. That's not the narrative. That's not the thing that I'm saying. That's not the carrot or the appeal that I'm trying to offer folks. And I think a lot of us think like, oh, me following my dreams are like, I gotta quit my job so I can get put on some way so I can like be seen. Is this enticing story that we feel guilty about that we don't do? But I think it's just the basic things in our daily routines that we can do to disrupt our slumber, whether it be I'm going to have, and I know this sounds crazy, but like I'm just going to have a dance session. I'm going to tell my husband, I don't like the way he kisses me. I'm going to speak up at my job about needing help. I'm going to seek somebody that fucking can help me rather than me swallowing this shit. I'm going to call a fucking podcast and share my story of not knowing, of feeling fucking dismissed and feeling like wildly alone. Like these things that we have to break out of, because this is like, there's so much at stake and we're in such a deep slumber. And I'm proud of Phoebe, and I aspire to the courage of like the Earth Liberation Front. And like, maybe we just have to hear these stories and see what's possible. Because I think we have no idea what's possible. We just think we got to get rich or die trying. We got to get married and have kids and buy a house. We got to be creative so that we can be seen, so that we can make money somehow, or like feel free. Like, I don't know. I think we have to be wildly interested and obsessed with liberation and whatever that means to you. But I think we're in so much trouble. And in my own life, I can just see where I'm like resigned and asleep and just going along with the flow. And we're in so much trouble. Sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm on my soapbox tonight.
No, you're not.
Sorry.
It's funny.
But like, it's fucking me up. It's so serious.
For folks, so we recorded Thursday's episode, everyone, before this one. Before Mondays. No, it's fine. And this is so connected to what I talked about for Thursday's episode with the how. And like imagining something else and feeling it in you, but not knowing how to execute. But I think what you're saying, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm just worried. Like, I feel really like we're in trouble, like in our own personal lives. There's like the collective thing, but in our own personal lives, that's where it has to change. Something has to break or open. Unfold. I think that feels better to me than break or change. But girl, I took that walk and I said, wow, maybe we're going to be okay. Something as simple as that. I was like, oh, this is the science to doing it. This is the practice of doing it. It may not be raging against the machine, but it's just like doing this really gentle stuff to realize what's not working and what's possible. Anyway, child.
I don't know. I think
what I would say is all of us have to go, what in our personal lives is resigned to disaster and self-destruction, and we know it, and we don't seem to have the power to address it
Shanti,
in your personal life.
I think that's the end of the episode. I don't think we should talk about anything else after that. I think we need to leave folks with that. I know it's other shit on here, but that's really powerful, and I think it's a powerful place to stop. Do you agree?
Yes.
Can you ask that question again? I got to write it down myself. Like, what in me is resigned to disaster?
Yeah, I don't know where I put it, girl. Why are we so resigned? And what in our lives is resigned to disaster and self-destruction? And we know it. We know it. And we just don't seem to have the power to address it, to move, to take action, to feel powerful. We feel so, like we don't know. Yeah, we just feel so flaccid. Just like, I don't know.
Cogs.
Yeah.
Remember, not to bring, oh my God, never mind. Because I was about to bring Beyonce up.
Listen, somehow this all comes back to Beyonce, and that is the end of it. Keep going, girl.
You know, like
What'd
the
she
9
say?
to 5 just stay alive. Remember that song? And she was like in that trance state of like, and it was like a clock, the way she was singing it. 9 to 5, just stay alive, just stay alive, just stay alive. And it's like that every day. It's like I woke up today and I was like, holy shit, it's October. What? And I look back like, what did you do? What did you live?
I would push against that because I think you have been cultivating really rich relationships, which are making, and you feel the life in those relationships and the possibility in those relationships. So that 9 to 5 is like, this isn't right. I know what it's like to like
be alive,
have
open.
Some things happening, to be unfolding, for possibility, for excitement to exist. So it's like the 9 to 5, but it's like, you really fuck with your husband? You really want to be married? You really?
Not Shanti
really?
advocating
really
for divorce.
That's really, you really like men? You really like women? Like, what are you just doing? Because I don't know. Because you don't know what else is possible. I gotta go to bed.
Y'all just listen to Shanti unravel, re-ravel, unlearn.
I'm sorry. That was a lot. I'm sorry. I appreciate y'all. That was a lot.
We gonna hold space because you are bringing us along and helping us see ourselves more clearly. That's all we ask. All right, y'all, that's it. We not talking about nothing else. You take that and you sit with it, goddammit. Another light episode of Around the Way Girls.
Light, inspiring.
I will say, because we recorded Thursday's episode first, Thursday's episode is a little lighter than that. Yeah. We're going to have a little bit of fun with our guests. You're going to cackle. She got a real good energy. Shout out to Kim. It's going to be a funky good time, all right?
They said these Mondays were for kikiing now.
Did you see?
Are you?
For pop culture, bitch, we talked about throwing tomato cans at art and destruction. Let me tell you, if we the most non-pop culture having this
economic sabotage, girl.
The two pop culture items that we had, I was like, fuck it, we done. 50 Cent, I don't care. And Kevin Spacey, I don't care. Nope. That's a shame.
And
but
the
it's not
Sixers are partnering with Chick-fil-A. Internet is up.
I'm pissed. I am pissed that the Philadelphia 76ers partnered with Chick-fil-A. They were partnering with Wendy's. Every time, I'm serious. Every time somebody missed 2 free throws, the opposing team at a home game, they missed 2 free throws in a row, you would get a free Frosty.
Oh my God.
Now you get a free, it's like choking on chicken basket because they choked at the free throw line. And it's Chick-fil-A. Matter of fact, we should, I'm going to talk about this to lighten it up, but this is not light either. Where the fuck are your priorities, Philadelphia 76ers? Why are you partnering with Chick-fil-A? And to all my queer folks who I know y'all, some of y'all, who fucking love Chick-fil-A, stop. First of all, unpopular opinion, that chicken is not that good. I said
Say it with your chest. That ain't even all that good.
Ain't even all that good. It's really not. It's okay.
People don't really care about you. They just doing a job. They train well. That's called a good business model. Not them motherfuckers caring about you.
Right. All Chick-fil-A, honestly, like Chick-fil-A don't taste that goddamn good. I had one Chick-fil-A thing with Jade and was like, this is what it is. I like the Popeyes chicken sandwich better. I said it.
And their fries ain't good.
And them big ass waffle fry things, I was irritated.
They're the white people of fries is the Chick-fil-A, I think. Yeah, the black people of fries is Checkers, girl.
Checkers fries is delicious. It's nothing but Old Bay or something on it. I don't know what that salty shit is.
I said,
but Popeyes has stepped their fries up too. Not that I've been eating Popeyes lately, but I might have snuck it last week. I was going through something. But let me tell you something. I don't fuck with Christian or not. No.
Oh gosh.
Wait, wrong name. Tricky. Read that wrong. Dan Cathy, who is the damn owner of Chick-fil-A, he's one of these Christian billionaires. It's Dan. I might have wrote Don, but it's Dan. I'm pretty sure. Is it Don?
Millionaires. I'm telling you.
It's tricky. I don't care either. No, it's Daniel Truitt Cathy. Hate him.
First of all, your name is confusing.
7.1 billionaire. That's what this motherfucker's worth. He's one of these Christian billionaires who donates large amounts of money to organizations that spearhead the derailment of the Equality Act. Listen, the way that this person just does not want to get behind gays.
They be so gay too. They be the gayest motherfuckers out there. They love the same sex so much.
It's just like, what is wrong with y'all? What's wrong with y'all? And I know that everybody's going to be like, well, Chick-fil-A stopped donating to anti-LGBTQIA groups. But guess what? The CEO, Dan Cathy, has not. He's still donating and can't stop, won't stop. And he also is on the record saying the same-sex marriage would invite God's judgment on the country. And then stop giving his money.
That's what's going to invite God's judgment on this country?
Not you being a billionaire.
You gay, bro. You gay?
But the other thing is, sis, I just want to point out that, like, he stopped donating money to organizations that supported same-sex marriage, like the fucking what's the Salvation Army? Why you that mad that you stopped giving money to the Salvation Army? Like, who is like, fuck the Salvation Army? Nobody. The Red Cross, sometimes people feel that they're tricky.
Fuck them.
But the Salvation Army, no. That's fuck Chick-fil-A, and y'all need to stop goddamn eating it.
Not right. Philly. Philly ain't got no goddamn scruples.
I'm so mad at them. I'm so disappointed, deeply disappointed in the Philadelphia 76er organization.
City would support this.
I saw that on Water Ice, that Instagram. You followed it? And they were like, the 76ers now are partnering with Chick-fil-A. I said, what happened to the Frosty? Anyway.
Said, bring Wendy's back.
Bring Wendy's back.
Make Wawa. First of all, let's keep it local. Wawa.
It should be Wawa. Should have been. We gotta go because you got an asterisk on your video. Some shit. We derailing this anyway. We really got somewhere. I don't know. I don't know what happened, but this episode is over anyway.
That might have been Christian Jesus that was like, you guys gotta stop defaming Chick-fil-A.
I think it was.
It was right wing Jesus.
As soon as we started talking about Chick-fil-A, our fucking technology blew up, which is very tricky.
Right-wing Jesus.
Could you
intervening.
imagine, like, all this work that we're doing? Like, imagine if God was really that much of a hater. It was like, no, actually, I put all these different religions on earth, and you were supposed to pick the right one and follow me and rebuke all the rest. And you had one job and you didn't do it. To hell, you go for eternity. Imagine if that was really. Imagine.
That would just be real tricky. I had to be good at really, like,
God would be
I had to learn how
Thanos.
to do math. Like, what's the probability of the right religion?
Yeah, like, what? Anyway, we gotta go. I'm done. I'm done with this.
exhausted.
It's 11 o'clock. My head hurts. We love y'all so much. More than you know. Hope you enjoyed this Kiki episode. All right.
Lighthearted episode. Keep on keeping on.
You know you was crying. I saw your little eyes. I said, what the fuck? She crying
Was I
over a suitcase. A little bit, yeah. That's why I was like, are you
I was
okay?
impassioned.
Yes. All right.
Bye.
Bye. You okay, sugar?
Was I crying? I was like,
A little
adrenaline.
bit.
I wasn't crying.
So listen, every time you have a clip, play it for Riverside, because you got to record that clip in GarageBand and send it. You see what I'm saying? It's not going to pick up on the mic, but what we want is for the patrons to be able to hear it.
So he's doing Monday? Why? The hardest
Nah,
one?
I think we should ask him to do Thursday.
Thursday.
I don't think Thursdays was that hard. I mean, they both kind of annoying this week. Because we had to stop in the middle of this one, right?
Which one had the least?
He can't do this Monday turnaround. He like, girl, I told you a week. So, I mean, he could.
All right, whatever. I thought he was doing Mondays, though, which gave us a week.
Well, it's flip-flop when I was like, hi, can you do... What's he doing Mondays?
Yeah. Well, the
No,
first
he
he only
did
did
Thursday.
two.
No,
He
he
did
did
Monday
it.
first, and then he did Thursday.
He didn't do 2 in a week yet.
He hasn't
I
done
did
two
that.
episodes? No, but the first episode he did was Monday, then we did Thursday.
Yeah, because we recorded late. I couldn't ask him to do Monday. You're right. We can ask him to do this one, but that means that I have to say this. When we give it to him, it's not just I give it to him. I have to give him show notes. Like, at this time, there was a pause. Please take it out.
Are the notes right there? Did you take the notes?
Yes.
And then I can send all that to him. I just need to know what it's not.
I need to show you the way I set up the folders and stuff. Like, we got a whole little system that I got to
Well,
put
he
you
sure enough
onto.
was like, fuck them folders. Here's your WeTransfer.
No, I'm talking about the WeTransfer is fine, but I'm saying the folder setup is like he has a folder for all of the evergreen, like intro, scratch, sacral, chakra music in case we have an affirmation,
Does he
and the
have that
outro.
all the time? Does he now have access to it?
Yes. But then in the other folder, you'll need my audio, your audio. If he's doing Mondays, the view clip, your clip, and then the show notes of like, insert the view clip at this time. I think I wrote that down. I did.
So should I just send my audio directly to that file and you send your audio direct to that file and I send this audio to that file and you send your view to that file?
What file?
The folder that you're talking about.
Oh,
Don't
yeah.
we just put it in there and he has access to it?
Yes, but you have to make a new. I'm just putting you on. You just have to make a new folder. Episode. What episode is this? 2. Whatever episode title. Title that. You put the Google Doc show notes in there. Show notes, and they can be real brief. Literally, just regular. You can say like regular setup, regular rundown, and then just here's the clip, and you have to title the clips. View clip. The whatever your clip was, and then voicemail, the voicemail at the top. I didn't put down when I played that though.
Are in the notes? Are you putting the time that
Yes.
So, are those notes ready now to give to him? Are all the notes basically there? The show notes complete
In the outline? Are you talking about in the outline? No, I didn't do show notes. When would I have done show notes?
I thought I just asked you if you did show notes and you just said yes. So no show notes were taken for this episode.
You mean in the outline? I have the view clip and I have your clip. roundabout times. The voicemail, I didn't put a number. I was too busy talking. I think that was probably, I don't know. He's going to have to listen. I think that was like 10. Or I have to listen to my audio and give it to him. Or he just has to listen. We could just say during Antoinette's updates at the top of the show, insert this around minute 8. I don't know. I didn't write it. We got to get better at that. You see what I'm saying? That's the only one.
Why did you say 8 minutes?
I'm just assuming that you talk for 8 minutes at the top, unless I listen to it. I'll listen back to my audio before and update the time. But anytime, these clips are great. We just have to be cognizant of when we're putting them in there so we can get the stuff to him. Do you hate it?
So we're going to give this episode Monday to him.
Is that what you want to do? Or the other one?
Yeah, I was under the impression that you said you would rather have Monday, so it gives us a week to do it. In the text. So yeah, I feel like it should go back to that.
Okay.
And just to be clear, I'm just going to drop my audio into that folder. Creating a new folder. Clip. Yeah, I mean, you have the
Go to the folders real fast. Go to the folders real fast.
Yeah, I saw what they looked like, so.
And you can go to the archive. Go to like an archive. We should archive the other one. Yeah, it's not hard. All I'm saying is we don't just drop it in there. You got to like label it. You got to have some sort of roadmap. Otherwise, the poor man is out here. Ooh, child.
Did you see that? Anyway, I don't feel we gotta take some time to talk this week because there's Chloe. Girl, I still don't know what the fuck she talking about. I had to read it one more again. I only read it one time, and it was while I was trying to get ready for your birthday. But Chloe responded. And then this woman, potential guest, you might want to take a look at that when you have time. But she sounds dope to me.
She hit us up, or you hit her up? She hit us up?
Hit us up. Mm-hmm. Like a doctor, a cognitive doctor.
For real? What's she talking about? All right, I'll check it. Okay. We got to respond to that, to Michael.
I'll just say at this time we are not ready to book any. We're not in alignment at this time. We're not ready to.
Chakras on the line, King. So the
chakra? That's what you should say. The chakra?
You can be like, I'm not looking for y'all. All right, audio files for a. Yeah, you can see it. ATWC episode audio and the ATWC Evergreen audio files. If you go into ATWC episode audio, you'll see episode 210, which I'm going to throw in the archive folder.
Oh, I just created 211. Okay.
Bang, bang.
Oh,
so just reference 210.
You put it in the archive. I love that.
So everything should be archived. So we have the other thing that we have to do that we might want to find somebody and throw them some money. We have to take down every single episode we ever uploaded. Not take it down, but we have to download it and put it on a hard drive. Because if anything happens to Spreaker, we should have the episode. I gotta buy that. I have a hard drive. It might not all fit on here, but the episode and the description on an external, because if they ever try to be like, well, we're taking your RSS feed. That's what happened to Jaden XD. They did not have a backup when they were putting their shit on Spotify, and Spotify screwed them, and they lost a whole bunch of their shit.
Yeah, let's do that. Who can do that?
Who can we find?
Who can I run to?
We could just throw somebody some money to, like, please. But that person has access to our Spreaker information. See what I'm saying? Don't love it. I mean, it could be a long-term project, but we got to do it. That's something that Savon told me we need to do. That's the HBO podcast bull. Oh, also he needs the end song, so you can pick that. Okay.
All right, I pick a song. So where about the notes? Where did the notes go into episode 211 too?
It goes in
You
the
put the-
folder. Look
Okay.
at open episode 210. That's all the notes were for that episode. Or 20. It was actually 209. No specific notes for this episode. Standard evergreen notes apply. End song is closer because we didn't have any clips. We didn't have anything. It was super simple. The other one was more specific. That's in the archive folder. I had to be like, at this time, put this voicemail in. At this time, put this voicemail in. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. He'll get it.
So just share the notes that are in here. We made notes for the most part in the thing. Okay.
Yeah. All right, Sheila. You all right? When you come, so just tell me when you're available to talk. You want to talk Sunday night? Or no? You got to give me my Saturday night. I need that.
Yeah, I don't want to talk on Saturday. I don't want to talk on Sunday either.
You want to talk on...
So I might not have to leave. My concern is that that's the start of the week for her. I just want her to be able to like come home and get into her routine and not get all discombobulated because she can't do it at her dad's. She'd have to be at my mom's, which is okay. She's just in a tiny fucking house. I still think about that. But done it for.
You're going to hit traffic at that time. You would need to leave right at the end.
All right, I have to go to bed. I have to think about that.
All right, please keep me posted on when you want to chat around all of these emails. Because I got to go too. I haven't finished. I got to.
What time? Because I technically drop. I could technically put Joe on her bus. Like I could get there before 12. You know, I could get there like.
I usually use the morning to prep. Their stuff is super heavy on pop culture, and I don't be knowing nothing about that.
When did she send you all that stuff?
That's the problem. They be sending it the fucking morning of. So I might tell her, you gotta record with me first, which is fine, and then record with Shanti, because you might need to sit. And once you get there and look up the stuff, I swear to God, I don't be knowing what the fuck they're talking about.
Oh, good.
I'm not into the pop culture. I have to Google all of it before I get, and I tell her that every time. I'm like, I need an outline, y'all. And she's very much like, add to the outline, add what you want. Like she's like that, but yeah, outline. So I might tell her like, we need to do me first to give Shanti some time to drive up. I'll just say that. And then in the morning, I can look that stuff up. Because they never give it to you. I always ask for it Sunday. She never sends it. They're still populating it.
All right. Did she find somebody for her and Bridget?
I did. I might have found somebody.
All right.
That's another conversation too, is it's somebody, there's a producer that wants to work with us, but we ain't got no money. But she's putting together a proposal, but we can't afford her. Tricky. We'll talk. All right. I love you. Bye.